Hi everybody, my name is Silva and welcome to episode number 5 of PWL Q&A Sundays.
I'm walking on fire, my debt is in pay. I'll take myself higher, so I'm feeling okay. Look at me now, I'm done with the chase. I taught myself how, now I'm feeling okay. I taught myself how, now I'm feeling
I wouldn't say it was anyone or anything specific that inspired me to get into wrestling. I think just being a fan of it when I was younger, I think that was sort of the inspiration. I think you always watch it and you want to do it in the same way. Like if you watch football, you always, you grow up, you want to be a footballer, or other sports as well. I think when you watch it, that makes you want to do it. So yeah, I'd say not anyone specific or anything specific. It was more just being a fan inspired me to get into wrestling. Best piece of advice I've ever been given in wrestling was do what got you to the dance in the first place. There's no point changing it when you get there. I think you can apply it to not just wrestling, you can apply it to life in general. Do what got you to the dance in the first place. Definitely not. Next question. Silva is me. His character, his mannerisms, the way he acts. Well, I don't even know why I say he. I am Cal Silva. That is me. So, I'm not inspired or modelled after anything other than myself. Any arena. I'd say Anfield. Anfield would be my main one. Obviously, growing up as a Liverpool fan, Anfield's a very special place. I mean, in the same way, people growing up as Wolves fans, it would be the Molineux or stuff like, or Man U fans, it would be Old Trafford. I think Anfield would be a big one. I'd love Anfield, but then again, being from the back country and being from Walsall, Wolverhampton, that sort of area. I was born in Walsall and then raised in Wolverhampton. The Banksies would be pretty cool. Banksy Stadium and the Molineux would be really, really cool too. So yeah, I'd say those three. I think if we're talking abroad, if we're talking arenas abroad, it would either have to be the Tokyo Dome or Madison Square Garden. I think they're really basic choices, but I think just the history in them both. But that's if we're talking abroad. I think if we're talking at home, it's Anfield and then the Banksies or Molineux or somewhere close to a big stadium close to home. No, not at all. The way I see it, when I come to the ring with a microphone in my hand, I am going to say what I've got to say. I don't care if they boo, I don't care if they shout or if they insult me, I don't care if it takes 5 minutes or an hour, I'm going to say what I've got to say. Yeah, I used to play football as a kid quite a bit. Dodgeball, I was really, really good at dodgeball. We used to play cricket as well. And I played rugby for a short time, but not for very long. So that's pretty much the extent. I played football quite a lot. I played football for years. Rugby I played for a very short period of time. Cricket I played all through school, but I was never really any good at it. And then dodgeball, I honestly believe I'm the best person in the world at dodgeball, and I've yet to be beaten to prove me wrong. So. Yeah, I mean, I would say I was interested in sports. I still like watching sports. Without doubt, Spinebuster. I think the Spinebuster that I do is incredibly devastating when it's done right. And I think I spent a lot of time working on it. I spent a lot of time getting it right. So I'm very, very proud of my Spinebuster. And I think when you do it and you do it at the right time, there's no better move in wrestling. again, another fairly easy question. Let me just preface this by saying I don't need a tag partner. I haven't needed a tag partner. In fact, having a tag partner in the back has done nothing but ended up with me getting stabbed in the back and cost tag titles. We won't name any names. Danny Gold. But if I was forced to go down that route again, if I was forced to take a tag partner in and tag with someone, it would be between two people. It would be, and I would be happy with either. Nick Powers is a phenomenal young talent. We get on really, really well in the ring and out the ring. We've got a lot to teach each other. So Nick Powers would definitely be someone. Obviously, I've tagged with him beforehand as well, and we work really well together. So Nick Powers, number one, and the other person that I would like is Kevin Phoenix. Obviously, me and Kevin get on great in the ring and out the ring. We've got really good chemistry. And Kevin's just a great guy. So I've tagged with him before. We tagged against the UK Bulldogs at Bilston, and just the amount of fun we had with each other. And not only that, but what you can learn from him as well. He knows his stuff. So if I was forced gun to my head to take a tag team partner, I would like it to be either Nick Powers or Kevin Phoenix. So I'm going to go through three here. I'm going to do my three favourite matches, number 3, 2 and 1. I'm going to order them so you will know which is my favourite. But I feel like I enjoyed them all so much, and for very different reasons, that I feel like I have to at least mention all three. So like my number 3, my third favourite match would be, it was in Portugal. It was a fatal 4-way for the PWL Junior Heavyweight Championship. It was myself, Leon Jackson, Nick Powers and Cam Wellington. And I think just for what it was, for me having to fight in a different style against 3 guys that I really didn't have that much experience with, and trying to fight the way that they do it, it was an eye-opener for me personally. It taught me a lot. Not to mention it was a fantastic match as well. The feedback we got from the press that were there and the fans in attendance was incredible. So yeah, I was really proud of that match, which definitely puts it in my top 3. Number 2 was myself versus Mad Dog Max at Turf Wars 2 for the Black Country Championship. I've had a lot of matches with Mad Dog Max over the years. It's got to be getting close to, hundreds, 200s now. But me and Mad Dog Max, I think that was the first time ever after a match where I've come backstage and just felt like 100% there was nothing left for either of us to give, Obviously, you always try to leave everything in the ring, but I think that was the first time I ever truly believed that I had nothing left. I think always after matches, and it pains me to say this because it was a very, very good match, and Mad Dog Max won and took the Black Country Championship, which I'd been defending for a while. So obviously it was upsetting in that sense, but I think that was the first match I've ever, because you always come after matches and you always think, especially after you lose, you always think, what if I'd have done this differently and what if I'd done that differently. I think that was an eye-opener for me because it was the first time after a match where I was like, there was nothing I could have done to change that. And I think that's what makes it special to me, because I think every time I gave that extra 5%, Mad Dog would give the extra 10, and then I would give the extra 15. And I think me and him that night specifically, we pushed each other so much further past, or not necessarily for him, but he pushed me way further that night than I ever thought I would have been able to go. And every time, I took shots in that match that 2, 3, 4 months before would have put me down. And I think the fact that I kept getting back up, and the fact that, well, not even just me, both of us, I think the amount we gave to each other and to the people watching it, and the amount we left in the ring that night, definitely it has to be considered amongst my favourites. But that being said, the only thing that beats it, and it pains me to say this because it is Danny Gold's favourite match as well, he did say that in episode 1, it was hair versus hair, myself versus him at Gilbert's in Willenhall. I think just for what it was, despite the fact that I lost, it was perfect. You had the story from the fans' perspective. There was a story behind it. They wanted to see it. There was a story behind it for me and Dan as well. You know, we'd fell out a couple of months before, and we hadn't really had a chance to get our hands on each other. So obviously we were both ready to go, and I think we really put it all on the line that night, because neither of us wanted to lose, because it wasn't just about the hair necessarily. It was about the bragging rights. You know, it was the first singles match we'd had since splitting up, and we didn't want to be the one to lose it. And I think that helped us then push each other further and further and further and further. And I think the result was a fantastic match. I don't think anybody who's seen that match has got a negative thing to say about it. So, yeah, that's my number one favourite. Like I said, as much as it pains me, I think that's where it has to be. So my number one would be me versus Danny Goldhair versus Sarah at Gilbert's. Number two, myself versus Mad Dog Max for the Black Country Championship at Turf Wars 2 at Low Hill. And then number three would be the Fatal Four-Way, myself, Nick Powers, Leon Jackson and Cam Welling for the junior heavyweight in Portugal. Then my top three. Good question. Good question. For anybody who doesn't know, this is a Doctor Who question. The Weeping Angels and the Daleks, two Doctor Who bad guys, I guess you could say. And also, for anyone who doesn't recognise it, the tattoo that I have here is actually a Weeping Angel. Just a little fun tidbit. I don't know if that's why he's asked the question, but I'm going to answer it seriously. I'm going to answer it very logically. If you think about it, if the Weeping Angels get you, they send you back in time and you live to death, you basically just get sent back in time and live until you die. I think that would be pretty cool. You get to go back in time, you know a lot of the stuff that's going to happen in the future, you can get to the bookies, put a couple of bets on the World Cup, you know what I mean, that sort of thing. Also, they normally send you back like 100 years, so I mean, like, if you can call like Leicester winning the Premier League, and then like when Denmark won the Euros, or anything really, you know, if you know things are going to happen, you can help and you can make a life out of knowing what's coming. So I don't think that would necessarily be that bad. Whereas if the Daleks get you, they're just going to shoot you, you're going to be dead. So I'd say in terms of if they were real things, real threats, the Daleks would be the scarier of the two. I don't view myself as a good guy or a bad guy. I view myself as Cal Silva. Whether you cheer me or boo me, it makes no difference to who I am as a person, who I am as an individual and as a wrestler. I'm going to do the same things as I always do, whether you cheer me or boo me. So, if you ask me if I prefer to be a good guy or a bad guy, honestly, I don't care. I don't care. I've never cared what other people think of me. I don't care what you fans think of me. I don't care if you cheer me or boo me or insult me or buy me cookies. I don't care how you guys feel about me. I don't care enough anyhow to have an opinion on whether I prefer to be a good guy or a bad guy. It might sound harsh, but unfortunately it's the truth. As much as it pains me to say it, I do want to be completely honest. My most formidable opponent is going to have to be Mad Dog Max. I think, not to mention he's one of the toughest people I've ever shared the ring with, because he is. But aside from that, what makes him formidable, he has the ability. He has this ability to change the style of match you're having. You know, I've been in the ring with Mad Dog Max, and for 20 minutes we have punched and punched and punched each other. And then just when you feel like you're starting to get, you know, the gist of it, and you're starting to get the upper hand maybe, or you're starting to feel a little bit more comfortable, or you've just got used to the style of match you're having, bam, just like that, it's changed, and he changes it. And to keep up with him is one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do as a wrestler. Also, like I said, not to mention the fact that he's very tough. Obviously, me and Mad Dog have been enemies since the start. We've never got on. You know, we've never been friends. We've never seen eye to eye, and we probably never will. But in the spirit of being completely honest, and giving credit where it's due, the most formidable person would be Mad Dog Max. I think keeping pace with him is difficult enough, but when he has the ability to just change the match completely halfway through, I think that makes him much, much more difficult to deal with. Not to mention, I've given Mad Dog Max beatings that would fell a decent sized ox, and he just gets up. He's unbelievably tough. That's not to say I can't beat him, because obviously I can, But being as I can't pick myself, the honest answer for most formidable, as much as it pains me, is it's Mad Dog Max. Right, everybody, so that's going to be for episode number 5 of Q&A Sundays with me, Cal Silva. Hopefully you all found out what it was you wanted to know. If not, then oh well, I'm done now, and I'm not redoing it.